ESF 3 Mission Snapshots, the Temporary Housing Mission. The Temporary Housing Mission is a typical mission that USACE can perform in support to FEMA during Stafford Act events. The USACE Temporary Housing Mission consists of three main mission subsets. FEMA may issue USACE a mission assignment for any one of the Temporary Housing Mission subsets, or a combination of mission subsets based on the details of the event and the state's request. The main Temporary Housing Mission subsets are Technical Assistance and Technical Monitoring, Haul and Install, and the Group Site Design Mission. USACE can be tasked to provide technical assistance and/or technical monitoring support to FEMA and/or the state. This could include advising non-federal partners on executing the temporary housing process, identifying potential sites, design review, technical assistance to FEMA Logistics Temporary Housing Contract, or LOGHouse, and providing technical monitors. The second of the three temporary housing mission subsets that USACE may receive is referred to as the Haul and Install Mission, or H&I, which involves a series of steps to ultimately place manufactured housing units, or MHUs, on private sites or in group sites. FEMA may task the Corps to perform some or all of these steps for an H&I mission, depending on the event and situation, including inspecting the locations where units are needed and determining if the site is feasible, hiring a contractor to haul the unit from the staging area, and setting up the unit, including connecting the utilities. The final steps in an H&I mission include making sure everything in the unit is functioning and then licensing the occupant in. Each installation of a temporary housing unit on a private site is considered a construction project. Key planning considerations applicable to all housing alternatives include floodplain considerations, utilities, contracting, local zoning or code requirements, homeowner association requirements, DOT hauling limitations, uniform federal accessibility standards, construction and installation details, and environmental and cultural impacts. The third temporary housing mission subset is the Group Site Design Mission. It's important to note that the Group Site Design Mission can be an extremely slow and enduring mission, beginning well after other response and recovery missions have ended. Many reasons factor into this, but one of the most influential reasons is that placing people in MHUs, either on a resident's private property or in a group site, is FEMA's last resort. This means that typically, if USACE is assigned a group site design mission, FEMA has already cycled through most, if not all, other options under FEMA's Individuals and Households Program, or IHP. For example, providing lodging expense reimbursement for short-term stays in hotels or motels, and rental assistance for temporary housing. FEMA often begins investigating the viability of a group site design mission only after it becomes apparent that other options are no longer available to meet temporary housing needs. This could be months and sometimes even more than a year after the initial event, for example, after a hurricane landfall or the start of a wildfire. The group site design mission is incredibly complex, with many interagency partners needing to complete steps concurrently, in parallel, or sequentially in the group site design process before and after USACE actually develops the design. USACE can also be mission assigned to support commercial sites, for example, expanding or building upon an existing RV or vacant mobile home park. However, there is not a pre-scripted mission assignment that specifies commercial sites as its own subset of the temporary housing mission. Instead, if tasked by FEMA, USACE typically accomplishes this work through the initial planning mission assignment, or perhaps under a technical assistance or technical monitoring mission assignment. If the planning results in true work, for example, pouring pads, construction, etc., it would be placed under a group site design mission. Unlike other USACE ESF 3 missions, there is no Advanced Contract Initiative, or ACI contract, for any of the subsets of the temporary housing mission. FEMA maintains an in-house contracting capability under the FEMA Logistics Temporary Housing Contract, or LOGHouse, that they often use to execute the temporary housing mission. If FEMA elects to directly task USACE with the Haul and Install mission and/or the Group Site Design mission, USACE Temporary Housing Mission contracting is typically coordinated with the local district. This was just a quick snapshot of the USACE Temporary Housing Mission. For more information, contact the USACE South Atlantic Division, the Proponent MSC for the Temporary Housing Mission.